I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
Buy merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are in the midst of a giant review.
Yes. Northern Scoundrels pick is up next. Again, we have Insomnium. This is the band I like.
Yeah, this is your band.
And how do you say this?
Ephemeral.
Ephemeral is the name of the song. We've got a couple of cool pictures here. I don't know if you were going to grab one of those. Boop. Here we go.
Is that the homie? That's got to be him with
It has to be him with his friend. Oh, yeah, here's another one.
That's the band,
Oh,
right?
my gosh. Look at this one. Okay, so this is like a younger one, I think.
Yeah, it's on the screen right now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Gang, gang, gang.
Okay. All right. Let's see what the comment section says here. Northern Scoundrel says the lyrics of this song have become a part of my life philosophy.
Whoa.
These 2 pictures are of Northern Scoundrel with the frontman of Insomnium in 2014 and with Marcus Van Helle, guitarist in Insomnium in 2017. So it's Northern Scoundrel with the guitarist, and I don't know which one's Northern.
Are you serious?
I'm assuming it's the one on the right.
Yeah, it's the one that looks exactly the same in both the pictures.
Well, it's these. This person and this person.
That person and that person are the same person, right?
Yeah, this guy and this guy are the same person. This guy and this guy are the same person, but it's separated by years.
Okay.
It's a cool idea.
I think that guy is him.
You think this is Northern?
No, I think the other guy's Northern.
Oh, you think this one's Northern?
Yeah. The guy with the short hair.
Oh,
I think the
yeah,
guy with the long hair is probably the guy in the band.
You're probably right. Oh, that's just funny. I guess I just thought Northern was... Okay, ready? Let's do this.
All right, here we go. Let's go. Insomnium. Can you give me those lyrics, por favor?
Yeah, I shall do that.
Where did you go, Insomnium? Come back.
Come.
There it is. Ephemeral. Okay, and we got a lyric video. Let's do it. Ooh. always choose these songs that are so badass and end in 3 minutes, damn it!
Yes.
Okay.
Another band I want to see live.
Is this on Insomnium, right?
Oh my word. Oh. Okay. Yep. Insomnium. How do you say that?
Ephemeral.
Ephemeral.
I'm ephemeral.
Wow.
Slipknot has a song that starts out that way.
Oh, really?
I'm ephemeral. Okay, go for it.
Darkness is ignorance, knowledge is light. Fight only with yourself or the shadows of the night. Do you think he's saying that all battles are actually like a battle with yourself? Like, for instance, you know how like usually what annoys us about other people is actually like the issues that we have that are unresolved?
A lot of times, yeah. For sure.
So you think that's what he's saying when he says fight only with yourself?
Well, you seem to really react to the song, so I just want to...
Well, I was going to break down we were going to,
Go for it.
For one thing, I like the way that it sounds, and it can have trash lyrics, and I still like can vibe with it if it has a good sound to it. But I did like the lyrics. When he okay, this part is like this right here has been my personal jam also. All the pain and suffering will dispirit you or feed you. For each and every time your failures will craft you. When the fear of them is gone, fear is gone. So that part is big for me because that's kind of how I've been looking at every situation that like probably the last year and a half has been like difficult, and it has had a lot of like, can you do this, jump this hurdle? Can you do this one? Can you do that? Like it's had a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
And
agree.
More
than normal.
There were times where those challenges, the pain and the suffering, I guess you could say, of those challenges dispirited me, and stuff just kept getting darker for me and darker for me. And then I switched to a new gear about it, and the switch that I did was before I was feeling like this is so unfair, like again, like there's something else I have to deal with again, you know what I mean? Like it just seemed like every time that there was something, I was looking at it more like winning an unlucky lottery instead of, okay, no, God is teaching me something in this, and there's a lesson to be learned. And if I trust God as my teacher, then I would say, okay, well, then this is the best way that he wanted me to learn. Like this is the exact way. Like God handpicked this situation. And there was this person that said like everything that comes into your life, understanding that it first passed through the hands, the fingers of God before it came to you. And so that understanding and that new way of looking at, call it pain, call it suffering, I mean, whatever the situation was, it actually ended up feeding me because I was like, okay, God is right at work in this situation. And it took a while though, because I would just feel like I had to sometimes it's weird sounding. You gotta go bullshit your way there. You know what I mean? Like at first you're like, I don't know, is God even doing this? Or is this, and there's specific stuff that I talked to you about today where you were like, man, if I would have only done this and this differently, this would have changed a bunch. And I'm like, yeah, but I said directly to you, and I've said it a bunch of times. I'm like, Vin, I would not have learned the lessons that I learned over this last year and a half if that thing would have been eliminated.
Yeah.
So, and then these lines, dying doesn't make this world dead to us. Breathing doesn't keep the flame alive in us. Dreaming doesn't make this time less real for us. One life, one chance. It's basically saying it's all short, And I like that part too because, thinking now just how much to say or not to say. That verse, when I have not experienced a lot of losses in my life. I lost my baby. That was difficult, but I never met anybody that has gone through as many things as you have. But that line made me think, because there's a lot of times that I think about people in in your life that made decisions that I don't think that they thought through fully. And had they thought through them fully and realized the full ramifications of their decisions, I don't believe, like if all of a sudden those people got a second chance to go like recalculate and do that thing again, I don't think that they would. Like, I think if they could see how it was going to affect people. So when I heard that line,
that wouldn't change anything with those people. No way. Not at all. No way. But go ahead.
Well, you know, like when we hear the stories of the NDEs.
Yep.
And the people have like, once they they switch the other side and then they're like, oh my gosh, like all of that was like the reality of the world and the reality of where they are. Like, I guess like I'm making an assumption that
none of them folks chose to go back. They were forced back there.
No, I know. But they said like they actually, like some of them will say that they experienced life in like in a dualistic sort of way. Like whatever they did, like they relived moments like in a second, like it was a really fast experience, but they relived whole moments where when they did something, it would affect like how they affected the other person. They could feel that.
Yeah, I'm sure they could feel it, but I don't think they would have changed anything that they did. But you can't comprehend that because, you know, you haven't had those experiences. And I think that's beautiful, but I don't think that would have changed anything for any of them.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I just think like, so I guess, I mean, how could I know? I don't know. I would hope that it would change if they actually could see how their actions like affected the people that they love. I would hope that they would have made different changes and different decisions, but I don't know. When it said dying doesn't make this world dead to us, like I'm not actually sure what he meant by that.
There's still people that are in the world that, you know, love you and will keep your memory around, I think is what he's saying.
Okay, so I was looking at it as like, just because you made decisions and you're gone now, like the world itself is going to keep going. And, you know, if you make, you know, we were talking to that one guy and it was the first time I ever heard somebody be that explicitly clear with somebody. And you told him like, if you don't stop this, like you're going to die. Your daughter is going to bury you. Like when we were in McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And I was like shocked that you were being that. And I actually thought that when you said that was going to actually change him. I literally did. I couldn't believe it when he was still like using for years after. But, yeah, I guess I was thinking.
You're thinking like you. And that's great. But those people, nah.
Yeah.
You know, like they were very, very purposeful and they knew what the ramifications were of what they were doing. So, it is what it is.
And then when he said breathing doesn't keep the flame alive in us, like I thought that was crazy too, because there's people that are alive, but they're dead, you know, even though they're alive. Like, you can breathe air, but you can essentially be a dead person. And yeah. Dreaming doesn't make time less real for us. That one I didn't actually understand that line.
Why? What about it? Say it again.
Dreaming doesn't make time less real for us. He's saying just because we dream, it doesn't mean that reality is less real because we have a dream or we've dreamed something. Then he just goes, you know, one life, one chance, it's all short. Like I could throw in with that mindset. I was telling one of our kids, I'm like, there's, you know, because you're always trying to teach them to prepare them for what you see in the future. So for right now, our 1.5-year-old, if he gets in trouble and he's like, let's say he's like screaming and I put him in a timeout and he doesn't want to be in the timeout, like the minute you let him out of the timeout, he bolts into another room and slams the door. And then he stays in there for a little bit. I'll go in there and, talk with him and stuff, but he's in this mode. So I'm like, we can't let him, that's not something that he can't use that as a coping skill. Every time he gets mad that we didn't let him have his way, he goes and, if he takes a toy from somebody and they say, no, I want my toy back. And then he's mad about it. So he goes storming off and slamming doors. Like, you can't do that. And if you fast forward that to what does that look like as a grown man? Okay. Women are going to tell him no. And he's going to have to say, okay, she said no, and leave it at that. We've seen what happens when men don't respect other people's boundaries. So, while he's only a year and a half now, or, he's becoming a grown man. And so you're always trying to teach them. And, I had a conversation with one of our older kids, and I was like, this, and this, like, you got to work on these things, because I remember being 16, like it was, people say this. I remember it was like it was yesterday. And I think to myself, oh my gosh, 16. Like, I remember how long it took to go from like 8 to 14. That was like the longest friggin' time of my life. And then 16 to 18 had its own stretch. And then 18 to 21. And then somewhere between 24 and 39, it just it went so fast. And so I told him, I said, it's you're at this age right now, but it's only going to be a couple blinks and you're going to be, grown with some kids around you. And when you're working on yourself as a teenager, you only have yourself to really look at. When you're a grown person and you have kids, like, you're looking at your own development, but you're looking at each of your kids' development and seeing how is this going to affect them in the future. Okay, so how can I work on that now? So there's just a lot more stuff that's going on. But when you're young, and you don't have all those extras, it's a good time to work out these things that are actually going to cause problems in your future. So, when he said one life, one chance, it's all short, I'm like, we stumble, we hover at the edge of the world, one life, one chance. That's all we have. I like that concept. Never walk away, turn your back on yourself, one life, one chance. I liked the repetitive nature of that, reminding us that it's short, man. It's short. When we're in the middle of it, it feels like, man, there's been seasons that felt like they lasted 50 years and haven't even been alive 50 years. But then there were times where you look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, a big giant chunk of time is gone.
It's very interesting how people say things so confidently.
Like what?
How can you know there's only one life? How can you know that? Because he says he's, you get one life and all this. How do you know? How do you know you only have one life? There are, we've got this in the Bible Boogie chat. There are. This guy, Dr. Long, has about 4,000 NDE testimonies of people who, after they died, their consciousness separated from their body, and they were able to name things like, there are 4 doctors here, this was a conversation. Mm-hmm. People say, well, yeah, you could have heard that. Nope, all brain activity is gone. The doctor, brain activity is gone. Person got called, no heart activity, no brain activity. And yet these people are talking about exactly what happened. I talk the story about it all the time. This woman saw a shoe at the top of the zapatos, at the top left part of the ceiling of the hospital.
Yeah.
The roof of the hospital.
Yeah.
There's enough there to at least cast doubt on the theory that we only have one life, or cast doubt on the theory that our consciousness, because, completely ceases at the end of your brain capacity.
Yeah, but he doesn't necessarily mean that. I mean, you could get that from there, but you could also get that, you only have one life on this planet. Whatever happens after that. Oh, you think you might, reincarnate?
Well, no. I mean, biblically speaking, we're going to come back on the earth. Right?
Yeah, but you're not, this is one of the things I think about is, right now, it requires faith to worship God. And you see different aspects of what he does, but there's a whole, there is faith that it requires to believe God, to trust God, and to walk in that. But after, he said, we're going to know even as we're known.
I think this guy believes in God. So when he says one life, I just assumed that he meant the way that most atheists say when they say you only have one life. You think he's talking about an afterlife in here somewhere when he says one life?
No, I don't think he's talking about an afterlife. But I'm saying even in a Christian sense, you could say one life because there's only one life here that you're going to live where you're going to be able to walk by faith. Because once you go to the other side, faith is not going to be there.
I'm talking from his paradigm. I'm not talking from mine. I'm just saying, how is he confidently saying we only have one life? How could he possibly know something like that?
Yeah.
Because our atheist friends say that they just go by evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, well, what's your evidence that there's only one life? That's all I'm saying. Like, people are saying these things very confidently. So if we talk about, we know we're going to an afterlife, they say, well, what's your evidence of that?
Yeah.
But there's never the question on the other side. What's your evidence that consciousness completely ceases after death? We don't know where consciousness originated from. So how can you be so confident that your consciousness just disappears after death? People, and the thing is that a lot of people think that their theory on the mind is the only extant theory that there is, meaning people believe that there's no difference between the brain and the mind. Mm-hmm. But, as Hoffman has pointed out, as Kastrup has pointed out, where is the evidence of this? Mm-hmm. If we don't know the origin of consciousness from a purely naturalistic perspective, what is it about the particular folds of proteins in your brain that generates your mind and your personality? Like, there. And we talked about this yesterday. Hard problem of consciousness, qualia. Mm-hmm. Why does chocolate taste like chocolate? There's no answer to that. Mm-hmm. So, like, if we don't know why chocolate tastes like chocolate in an experiential level, then how in the world could we possibly say with any confidence, yeah, when you're dead, that's you. Yeah. Like that's so it's so weird to me that people speak so confidently about that when you don't even have a working theory for the first thing about how consciousness came to be in the first place. Mm-hmm. So that's all I was saying, was that it's just, there's a lot of sort of assumptions that get made by people of faith on both sides of the aisle. Mm-hmm. And, I've had countless conversations with my atheist friends, and it's clear that they employ faith for their worldview to work for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
They say, no, it's got to be repeatable and observable. I'm like, you believe in the Big Bang? It happened 14.6 billion years ago? Yes, I do. Is that repeatable? No, it's a one-time action. Okay.
Then. Yeah.
They say, well, redshift. How do you know that the redshift is what the scientists say that it is? You're putting faith in a certain kind of a worldview, right? And life coming from non-life, impossible to square from a physicalist perspective. Consciousness springing up from dead matter, impossible to square from a physicalist perspective. They'll say things like, "Oh, you believe in a talking donkey? Look, there's a donkey that talks in the Book of Numbers." I was doing Ask Me Anything one time, and I said, "Yeah." Dude started laughing, and I said, "Well, you don't believe in talking animals?" He goes, "Of course not." I said, "Well, what are we?" He said, "Well, we're primates." I'm like, "We're animals." Yes. I was like, "Okay, so you believe in talking animals?" He said, "Whoa." I said, "Look, in the Book of Numbers, before the donkey starts talking, the author literally says, 'Behold,' yeah. which means, look at that, check this out. And then it says, the Lord opened the mouth of this animal. It was basically said, you need divine intervention to open the mouth of this donkey. Why? These people were not stupid. The author understands that the only way that his audience would understand that a donkey was speaking is if God intervened supernaturally, right? And so it's like, okay, but you believe that all of us are just animals, and that so you believe in talking animals. And the guy had to say, well, yes, but I was like, okay, so you believe in talking animals with no divine intervention. I don't believe that I'm an animal. I believe I'm a human in the image of God, and that if animals talk, it's because God intervened supernaturally for some reason of his own making. Yeah. And so, like, all these assumptions that we have, all I'm saying is, if you were to interrogate the assumptions that you have as an atheist about the origin of life, the origin of the universe, how we get order out of disorder, how we get consciousness out of dead matter, how to get life out of rocks, like, if you lined all those things up together, and all the things that you have to ignore to uphold an atheist worldview, I think people would understand that all of us are operating on a faith-based level. It's just which of us can be more consistent with our understanding of how things should work. You know what I'm saying? It's what it comes down to. So
yeah, yep.
It's a very, very interesting. I'll say, what do you give this one?
9.8. I really liked it.
I'm gonna give this one a 9.2. 9.2. Man, that's crazy. Like the years.
Yeah.
That was a really cool idea, Controller. I don't know if he's still here. All right, dear listener.
That
I
was
see there's 72 of
Northern
you.
Scoundrels pick. All right, next up is Negative Vibes.
Okay, between YouTube and Twitter, there's 72 of you. So what's up? What's up? What's up? We got a commercial break. We're coming right back very soon.
We'll be right back.